Hi, my name is Miss Melissa, and I am a teaching artist in the PACE program with the Acadiana Center for the Arts in Lafayette Parish School System in Lafayette, Louisiana. Today, we are going to be learning about magical triangles by creating a highway or railroad tracks that you can find in a landscape. First, you are probably wondering, well, what is a magical triangle? Well, I know you know what a triangle is, and I have a picture on the wall right here. A triangle is made of what type of line? Very good. It's made of a straight line that goes in a what? Horizontal. And what are these lines called behind me? Diagonal. Direction. Basically, I'm going to show you some tricks on how to make a perspective drawing with just using triangles today. Well, maybe now you're thinking, what is a perspective drawing? Well, perspective is the ability to make something look real. Your picture in your drawing is going to look like a real picture. For example, behind me, I have a picture of what? Very good, a road or a highway. Do you notice the trees, which are on the side, look like they're getting what? Bigger or smaller as you get to that point? Very good. It looks like they're getting smaller. So it kind of creates an illusion. And that's what I mean by magical triangle. So you can make a highway today or even a railroad, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So let's go ahead and get your supplies. These are the supplies that you will need today. First, you're going to need just a plain white sheet of copy paper. Okay, and if you don't have a white sheet of paper, you can use a recycled sheet, the back of a sheet, anything. But I'm going to use white. You're also going to need a pencil, an eraser, and a ruler, and a pair of scissors. And I'm going to use markers today. I like markers because it's easy to color with. If you don't have markers, you can use crayons. Now, if you don't have a ruler, that's fine. You can use the edge of a hard surface, like the side of a book, the side of a thick folder. So if you don't have a ruler, you can use a straight edge from a book or something like that, okay? But I have a ruler. All right, so if you need to pause the video so you can go and get your supplies, and I will be here when you can get back. Now, let's get your paper ready. So, what you're going to do is take your copy paper or whatever kind of paper you have, and you're going to fold it in half like a book, okay? Not like a hot dog. We don't want a hot dog shape bun. We want a book. So you're going to fold it in half to where the corners touch and the sides touch. And then once they touch, you're going to press and make a crease. Then, once you do that, open it up and take your scissors, and we're going to cut along the straight line. Keep in mind to open up your scissors nice and wide, and we're always going to use the back of the scissors. The paper should always go into the back, and keep your fingers away. So watch. You're going to open. The paper is way in the back of the scissors. Close, and I'm going to slide the paper in the back. Close, slide, cut, there we go, and we're done. So, you don't need the other half, you just need one half. That's all we need to do our drawing for today. So, let's get started. So remember, you can make a road or you can make some railroad tracks. I'm going to make some railroad tracks here. And I'm also going to put trees just like I put trees here. And of course, we're going to add color. And this is going to become a landscape. We're going to make the land. And right above this line is the sky. Okay? So let's get started. I'm going to put my paper going the long way, if you would just copy off of me. And I'm going to put my ruler going across the top. And I want to trace. It's going to line up to the top of the paper, and I'm going to trace underneath and make a straight line. Just like that. Now, it might be hard for you to see, so I'm going to darken it. Let's see. This is from tracing my ruler. Can you see that? Okay, good. This is called the horizon line. It's a straight line. It's horizontal. It's basically the horizon line when you're looking outside. It's things that appear in the distance, okay? And so what we're going to do now, I want you to guess. Where do you think the middle of this line would be? Would it be here? No, that's too far to the left. Would it be here? No, that's too far to the right. What about here? Take a good guess. Very good. And I want you to make a dot in the middle. Okay? Now, we're going to start making our triangle. This is called a vanishing point. It's a point or a dot, and everything's going to appear like it's vanishing in the distance, which means disappearing. It gets smaller and smaller. So let's make our triangle. That's the top. Okay, the bottom is going to be the bottom of our paper, and now we're going to make the sides. So I want you to take I guess we could measure. Let's use our ruler. Let's put our ruler 2 inches away from the edge. So for example, here I have the end of my paper, okay? And if I put my ruler where it says, can you see it? Number 2, right here. That means from the 2 to the 1 to the end of this is 2 inches. So I want to put 2 inches from the side. So my 2 is going to line up on the edge, and I'm going to mark my paper on the bottom like this. Right here. You could even put a dot if you want. That is 2 inches. Now I'm going to come this way. You can put your ruler at the beginning of the edge, lay it down on its side, and let's count. 1, 2. Okay? Put a little mark. So if I move it down, this would be 2 inches. So I just went 2 inches away from the edge of my paper. Now let's count the number of dots that we have. 1, 2, 3. Now let's connect the dots. I'm going to put the corner of my ruler at the top, and I'm going to make sure the side of my ruler lines up and goes right through this dot. Once you get that, hold your ruler down and trace the edge, and you're going to get a straight line. And let's put that on this side. The ruler over the dot, it's going to go right over this dot. Hold it down and trace. Very good. Now we have your magical triangle. Now lots of neat things could happen. So I'm going to erase these dots because I don't need them. Okay? All right. Now you need to decide. Do you want to make a road or do you want to make a railroad track? If you want to make a road, you can start drawing those rectangles. These would be the yellow rectangles that you see in the middle of the road, and the road would be black. Now you're going to start the middle rectangle very big, and then this is going to get a little thinner, and they get smaller as you go away. all the way into the distance. It's really tiny. Look at this rectangle compared to this one. So you can start doing that. And if you want to make a railroad, what I'm going to do is just put my ruler at the bottom and I'm going to trace. Lines that go across inside of my triangle. And you could even use your ruler to help you, okay? And now I'm gonna cut these in half. I'm gonna take a guess. You could even mark, where do you think the halfway point would be? Okay. I'm going to put one straight line in between the big ones, just like that. Okay? Very good. So now, since it's a railroad track, we're going to skip a space and add a bar. Skip a space and add the bar or the track, whatever you want to call it. So watch, let's skip. Now I'm going to add two little pieces that stick out just to show my tracks a little bit better. Do you see that? So it's skip, bar, skip, bar, skip, bar, and then one more way at the end. I'm just adding some little pieces that stick out so you could see that it's actually a track. And then now what I'm going to do is take my ruler and I want to make, I don't know if you could see that. This is the edge of my triangle. I want to add another thin line on the inside to show the edge of my track. So now I'm putting my ruler at the point. I'm touching the dot and this is the ruler lining up on the triangle. Now I'm going to move it a little bit on the inside to show my train track. Do you see that? So we just made a little bit of room and now I finished my train track. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to draw trees. And remember, when we go in the back of our paper by that vanishing point, everything's going to get what? Bigger or smaller? Everything's going to get smaller. So let me show you a trick. Take your ruler, put your corner of the ruler on the tip of the dot. Okay? Now let's line up our triangle. Do you see how it lines up on your triangle? On your train track or on your road? Okay, now what I'm going to do is keep my corner on the dot. I'm going to lift it up and turn it all the way until I get to the corner of my paper. So I have my corner here at the dot, and then it's the edge of the ruler is touching the corner of my paper. And I'm going to draw a line going that way. So we're going to go from the dot all the way to the corner of the paper. So put your corner of the ruler on the dot, line it up to the corner of your paper, and trace. Now you want these lines to be very light. I'm making mine dark so you can see it. So now we're going to start drawing our tree trunks. Let's draw 3. Okay, so do you see how we added this line? Very good. This is where our trees are going to start. Let's draw 3. You're going to move across from your train track. So I have 1, 2, 3 bars or 3 tracks. So let's make 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. And we could even, let's add 4 because we have one back here. So if you decided to make a road, about in the middle, you'll put 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. So along both lines, let's make 4 dots. I think 4 would be better than 3. Now we're just making dots to show us where the tree trunks are going to go. Now we're going to start our trunk on these lines. So how high is it going to go? Well, we are going to use our ruler for that. So I want you to line up your ruler on top of these dots, and I want you to move it over till you get about here. And I'll show you what it looks like. Trace. Just make an angle. You can decide how tall you want your trees. Just we're not gonna have our ruler go past the line, okay? And let's do the same thing on this side. Put your ruler down right on top of your 4 dots, and we're gonna move it over to about the same amount of space, and we're gonna guess. Does that look pretty close? That's how high our tree trunks are gonna go. So now I can take my ruler, instead of holding it on the side, I'm gonna hold it up and down, which is called vertical, and it's gonna line up with the edge of my paper. So I'm gonna go from the line I just made all the way down to the dot. Move it over, the line that I made to the dot. Line to dot, line to dot. Okay? And I'm gonna add another one. Now you could use your ruler. Now this is making our trunks. You could use your ruler to make your trunk, or you can just draw it freely. And it's gonna be straight with your other lines. Now let's do this on this side. Make sure your ruler lines up with your edge. We don't want it to be crooked. We want it to be vertical. From the top of the line that you just made down to the dot. Let's trace. Now at any point, if I'm going too fast and you're watching the video, you can pause it. You see that? And now I'm gonna add one more. I'm making my what? Very good. My tree trunks. And it's gonna look like it's getting bigger. Well, it's starting off bigger and it's getting smaller and smaller. So now, once you closed off your rectangles and made your tree trunks, we could erase that top line because we don't need it. I'm just going to put the tops of the trunk back. And then we do need to keep this line up here though. All right, so now now you hopefully drew yours a little bit lighter. I drew mine darker so you could see it. And we are done measuring. We're using this dot, this point, to create something called a vanishing point, which makes everything look like it gets smaller and starts to disappear the closer you get to the horizon line. It's like creating an illusion, and the whole time we've been using the shape of triangles. I told you today we have some magical triangles. Triangles can be magical in art. Can you see my tree trunks? Okay, good. Now we can erase these dots. We don't need the dots, and we don't need the line on top. That was just to help you see and to help you get the drawing. And then once we color with a marker, you won't even see the dot. Okay, now there we go. So yes, triangles can be magical. We use triangles to make our trunks. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just add a few things in the sky. What would you like to see in the sky? And we don't need this dot anymore on top. We can get rid of our vanishing point. So I would like to make a sunset. It just seems like it would look really good right here, right in the middle. And maybe I'll put a few clouds. Now, if the sun is setting, the sky is going to be what? Very good, like an orange, maybe a pink. And if it's a daytime sky, then it will be what color? Blue. Very good. And a nighttime sky would be black. So you can decide on the type of sky that you would like depending on the time of day. So we're going to color our trees, and you can color your road or your railroad tracks. And I think I'm just going to make everything else grass. Oh, one thing we forgot to do. I forgot to add the leaves. So let's do that together. I'm using curvy lines to make some bumps. Now, did you notice what I did? The ones in the front are bigger than the one in the back. So it's big, medium, medium, small, small. So these are going to be my biggest. Very good. Now we could add color. You can start with whatever colors you would like. Just keep in mind that if you're coloring the road, your road is going to be black. And the inside of the road, the rectangles are going to be yellow, okay? And I don't know if you noticed, but on this picture, I drew the trees on the inside of that line, which is fine, but we drew them on the outside. So this empty space is going to be my gravel. And you can make this empty space if you have a road. This could also be gravel. It could even be a sidewalk. So you can be creative and make what you would like in the empty spaces. But I'm going to go ahead and start coloring the railroad track. And I know that these pieces are brown because it's wood. And I think I'm going to color my bars, like the metal bars. I might color those black. And I'll make the gravel probably a tan or a gray. So you can be very creative. I hope you like the way that your drawing came out. I'm wondering if you chose the road or the railroad track. The railroad track has a little bit more detail, but both of them, either one, will look like it's disappearing because it's going to, the triangle, you know, that you made, it makes a point and it's vanishing. It's going in the distance, or it looks like it's going in the distance. So both railroad tracks and roads will appear that it's vanishing. Okay, so I'm going to finish this. I can't wait to see. Now this marker is already starting to go out. I'm going to get another one. I definitely need the brown. Now I decided I am going to color grass in the background. And I also am going to color the trees. Now I have 2 shades of green. If you don't, you can create maybe some fall trees with green grass, meaning you can have red trees, yellow trees, orange trees. Or you can color your trees green, and maybe the grass or the ground you would turn into something else, whether it's cement or gravel or sand. So you can get really creative with how you want to color your picture. And since I have the brown, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go ahead and color the trunks now. And this is why I like markers. You don't have to press hard at all. The ink glides on for you. It makes it very easy to design. And if you don't, well, I'm going to color my gravel. You'll see. I'm going to color it gray. If you don't have a gray marker, you can use a gray crayon. And if you don't have a gray crayon, you know what works good for gray? Your pencil. Your pencil works very good for gray areas. All right. Now, I really just want to color the trees, and then I'll come back to the track. So you can really color what you would like first. The whole thing is going to be colored now, unless you have white. If you have white in your picture, then you won't color it. But I don't think I'm going to have any white, so everything in my picture is going to be colored. Now your clouds may be white if your sun isn't setting, but I put the sun setting in my picture. And last tree. Cool. All right. So now what I'm going to do is color this metal rod that connects the track together. I'm going to color it black. You can really see the triangles, don't you? Okay, so in between this, I decided I'm gonna have gravel, and I'm gonna use gray. Now sometimes you can have gravel or rocks that, they're light brown or tan. Maybe sometimes you might even see yellow. You can create whatever kind of gravel you would like. I think I'm going to keep going with the gravel. A lot of times when you see train tracks, you'll see the gravel on the edge of it. And if you decided to color a road, like I was saying, you can make this a sidewalk. Maybe it'll be a place where people could ride their bikes. Or maybe you'll have some flowers growing right here in the landscape. You can fill in this triangle with whatever you like. I like having this empty space because you can be creative and you could even draw some water, a river, and it would get smaller as you go into the distance. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to color the grass, which is going to be in between all of the trees I have. Now these markers are already starting to go out. So, but I'm just going to keep going, and I'll probably work on my picture a little later. But I kind of like the, it looks good. It looks good light compared, like the grass is light and the trees, the leaves on the trees are dark. So I think it looks good. Now remember, you have to stay under. Everything under the horizon line is the ground. And at any point, if I'm going too fast, you can stop the video and I'll be here when you get back. But I hope I'm giving you some ideas on different things that you can put in your picture in between, you know, the grass and the road or railroad track, whatever you decided. Okay, so I have a sunset. So now I am going to create the sunset sky. I think I'm gonna go with an orange sky. I could choose pink or orange, is typical, but I'm gonna go with an orange sky. Now maybe I'll color my clouds a little yellow and pink. I can kind of mix it up. Just gonna go around the clouds for now. And I like to color side to side, going this way when I have a landscape, because it just looks right going side to side instead of up and down. I carefully go around. So I wonder what kind of sky you have. And I'm almost finished. Just gonna, I think I'm going to, that looks really cool. I think I'm gonna color the clouds. I'm going to put some yellow reflecting the sun since it's a sunset. Just a little bit of yellow. Maybe I can add a little bit of pink. Just going to kind of squiggle a little bit in there. I'm going to put some more yellow. All right. Well, there you have it. I finished my magical triangle picture. I hope you enjoyed creating your railroad track or your road. It looks like a real picture. Everything in the background gets smaller. So good job today on creating an illusion. I think your picture came out great. Thank you for joining me today. We will be posting a new lesson every day at 10 a.m. on the Acadiana Center for the Arts YouTube channel for kindergarten, first, and second grades, each tying into the academic curriculum. You could also get these lessons on AOC as part of the Learn United program, accessible on Cox Channel 16 or LUS Channel 4. Kindergarten lessons air at 8 a.m., and first and second grade lessons air at 9 a.m. Some lessons will be in visual arts and some in creative movement, so be sure to come back and make art with us tomorrow. If you are interested in supporting programs like this, visit the Acadiana Center for the Arts.org, which is the nonprofit organization who manages this PACE program. Spread the word, share our videos, and keep making art. If you want more, you can book me for a private online lesson. My email is in the description box below. Thank you for joining me today and have a great day.